Why is Cambodia mockingly referred to as Scambodia? Have you ever heard of Cambodia? I'm sure you have. But what about Cambodia? Just one more letter S, Wall Street Journal, changed the name of a country into a shocking phrase connected with two letters, and immediately it was no longer a topic, but became a raging fire from Phnom Penh to Washington. Is this the truth that has just been revealed, or is it a play on words that has gone too far, directly affecting the self-esteem of an entire nation? And everything really exploded on April 19th, 2026. At that time, the Wall Street Journal of the United States published a special investigation with a shocking theme: how cybercrime became a leading industry in Cambodia. Just one word: Cambodia. The sensitive link between the scam and Cambodia, immediately sparked a wave of anger all over Cambodia, especially on the social network. The response was not only in the public opinion. The Cambodian government, through the Ministry of Information, immediately made a harsh criticism. They see this as an insult, unprofessionalism, and serious damage to national prestige, as well as denying Phnom Penh's unceasing efforts in the fight against cybercrime. For the people of Cambodia, that name is not just a shocking word, it is like a direct blow to the self-esteem of the nation, a distorted image of the country in the eyes of the international community. So, why can only one language cause such deep damage? From the perspective of an expert, a researcher of Cambodia's history and politics, Dr. M. Kok Thay has given a remarkable analysis on the Phnom Penh Post. He admitted that the investigation and the deployment of cybercrime networks in Cambodia is necessary, but the title of the Wall Street Journal has crossed the ethical boundaries of professional journalism. According to Dr. M. Kok Thay, Cambodia is the country of millions of people with normal lives, not related to criminal networks. The use of the name Cambodia has inadvertently turned an image into a blackboard, making a collective judgment when an entire nation is defined by the actions of a small group. In the job of the press, this is seen as a form of discrimination, unfairness and injustice, and a risk of long-term damage to the reputation of innocent citizens. Therefore, Cambodia is no longer a neutral description, but a way of expressing a close, malicious personality. In an article on Khmer Tom on April 21st, analyst Rose Satterfip also argued that the use of this term has crossed the boundary between information and alcoholism. According to him, although Cambodia is really facing an online scam, it is unfair to label an entire country with such a negative personality and reduce the media standard. However, on the contrary, if we look at it in a sober and neutral way, we also need to understand why the Wall Street Journal chose such a serious topic. According to experts' reports, in 2025, the scale of the industry of scamming in Cambodia is astonishing, about $19 billion per year. Put on the scale, this number is equivalent to nearly 40% of the GDP of the entire country, even with a source estimated at up to 60%. That huge scale has made Western media tend to use extreme terms to describe the seriousness of the issue. Not to mention the shocking numbers. The scale of this industry also shows a deepening of Cambodia's economy. It has surpassed the cloud industry, a legal field that is considered to be the economic pillar of floating, to become a huge black money source. When a large-scale criminal act to the extent of deforming the entire national economic structure. Western media use extreme terms to describe this situation is partly understandable. However, what makes the international community really move is not just money, but the nature behind these scam centers. According to a UN report in 2024, from 100,000 to 150,000 people were detained in scam centers in Cambodia. Most of them were victims of the so-called high-paying jobs, which were later forced to work under harsh conditions. It is worth saying that these centers are not hidden in the dark, but suddenly exist in the banks, hotels, and residential areas at hotspots like Sihanoukville, Bave, or even the capital, Phnom Penh. Many non-governmental organizations that work with refugees have been accused of terrorism, from forced labor, torture, to kidnapping children. And behind it are not just local groups, but also a criminal network of international organizations, with the participation of many royal associations and international networks. From the point of view of Cambodia and the young doctor, One of the points that needs to be clearly recognized is that this is not a problem of Cambodia alone. Cybercrime and online fraud is a global disease, not a specialty of any country. Right in the region, Thailand has also collected more than $620 million from similar networks. And in the UK, authorities are still trying to track national networks. Therefore, the fact that the Wall Street Journal has a private channel for Cambodia has inadvertently separated the issue from the real situation. This is a criminal network across the border exploiting management holes and challenging the implementation of law in the region. According to the doctor, the designation of a country as its criminal network is not just simplifying too much, but also eroding the core nature of the issue, which is the complex international criminal networks. Meanwhile, in the real world, Cambodia is not standing still. In the face of fraud, the government of this country has launched a series of tough campaigns, destroying hundreds of locations, arresting and extraditing thousands of foreign suspects, with the clear goal of erasing these networks to regain national image. It is noteworthy that the Cambodian parliament has also passed a new bill with heavy fines, including those who can face life imprisonment. In addition, on March 30th, all MPs attending the meeting of the Cambodian parliament voted to pass an anti-fraud bill with an absolute consensus rate, marking a strong step of this country against the growing crime of high technology. The noteworthy point of the bill is that it stipulates a very high penalty for criminals. If fraud occurs, people can be sentenced to 15 to 30 years in prison, even life imprisonment. Not only targeting criminals, the new law also increases the responsibility of those involved in the system. Those who operate fraud centers can be sentenced to 50 years in prison, plus a large fine. Cambodian officials admitted that the online fraud networks over time have had a negative impact, not only on social order, but also on the image of the country. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Justice Cao Yip said that the bill is necessary to increase the effectiveness of crime suppression and expand international cooperation in processing cross-border networks. Along with the completion of the legal framework, Cambodia is deploying a large scale across the country to crack down on fraud groups. The government aims to completely wipe out online fraud centers in a short time. According to the Cambodian Ministry of Interior, since mid-2025 until now, more than 30,000 suspects as foreigners have been expelled, while hundreds of thousands of other people left the country after the crackdowns were pushed hard. However, according to those who oppose the writing of the Wall Street Journal, these efforts seem to have been ignored. Instead, the U.S. newspaper was said to only focus on shocking words to attract attention, accidentally pushing the story further from its original nature. Looking broadly, Cambodia is no longer simply a debate about words. It reflects a fierce clash between the two names. On the one hand, it is the responsibility of the press to reveal the truth, and on the other hand, it is the moral standard to respect the reputation and identity of an ethnic group. Because a topic can bring back millions of views, but it can also leave psychological scars for millions of innocent people. Words, when pushed too far, are no longer tools to convey the truth, but can become a soft weapon that hurts for a long time. Currently, Cambodia stands in front of a double-edged sword. It has to forcefully put the criminal on the ground. It has to face and resolve the prejudices from international media. Hopefully, with tough and determined to improve image, the name Cambodia will only be a cut that caused controversy in the past, but a place for more positive stories about Cambodia. What do you think about the play of the word of the Wall Street Journal? Is it a good reaction that has gone too far? Or leave your comments in the comments section. And now, goodbye and see you in the next stories.